Oh, whoa, we got a lot of the red stuff. Whoa. Punished by the prototype. See you next fall. And just another reason you should never hang out in an abandoned toy factory. Today, we're breaking down and reacting to all of these shocking medical scenes and frightful injuries from the highly popular horror video game, Poppy Playtime Chapter 5, Broken Things. Let's dive right in.
What did you do with them?
First off, I gotta talk anatomy. If we could just look at the hand, even though it is huge and no flesh over top of it, it's actually pretty accurate to a point. Further down at the forearm bones, and you actually have two.
I built us a home and kept us safe. And you repaid me by bringing in an outsider.
Whoa. We can look at the mouth and see that there's a ton of teeth. We have multiple types of different teeth. Incisors, you have canines, you have premolars and molars.
I see now. This was my fault.
Being lifted up by your head, you're gonna have potential disarticulation of the joints in your neck. You do have to be really careful.
Can make better.
Ooh. Facial trauma. What are the common areas that I end up seeing at the hospital? Usually it's related to the mandible, which is this jaw. Sometimes people will get punched in the face and they'll fracture it on one side and actually fracture it on the other. There's two different impacts.
Don't
Touch me.
Oh, whoa, we got a lot of the red stuff. Whoa. That amount coming out of the body, that's not gonna be good. If we see people who do have massive bleeding, we do characterize it by the amount of blood, but sometimes you can't do that.
I can't do that!
You do it based on people's symptoms and something called hypovolemic shock. Oh, we're getting high. We're about to fall from a great height. Uh-oh. If you were to fall from that height as a human, it's more than 2 to 3 times your own height, which increases the risk of injuries. Trauma activation, and you're gonna get a full head-to-toe assessment. You do airway, breathing, circulation, disability, and exposure. Oh, geez. Oh, my goodness. Oh! You see her just flop and land directly on her face. It actually is so common. People will fall, trip, and you try to put your arms out to brace your fall, or you passed out before you fell, thus you're not protecting yourself. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah. Crush injuries, besides broken bones, cause destruction of tissue, leading to tissue cells popping open. You release potassium. It can lead to cardiac arrhythmias and can cause cardiac arrest.
Cardiac arrest!
Whoa. Whoa. Mouths like that, not normal for a human, but you see like sharks, they have multiple rows of teeth, potentially like this. And look at the lips, so they're very swollen. If a human had lips that were that tense, you always think, okay, is there an allergic reaction? Were they injected with different materials? And look at those eyeballs, that pupil is super dilated. The medical term we would call is mydriasis, basically big, open, related to your sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight response. Whoa, is that a tumor? What is that thing coming off the side? Missing the right arm. That right side of the body took a hit. Even the lips are a different color, almost like black, would indicate gangrene and tissue death. Sometimes if it's dry gangrene, it won't necessarily cause an infection yet. Huggy Wuggy is definitely missing that left hand. No bleeding or anything coming out, so was able to get the bleeding to stop. Anybody ever has an amputation, find the limb as best you can, get to the hospital ASAP. The likelihood of reattaching something that has been amputated is pretty darn low, but you should get checked out anyway with that. Oh, ET phone home. Oh, all I see is a hand going straight through the back, coming out the front with some tissue flying out. Heart is center to the left. Sometimes there are people that have dextrocardia or situs inversus. So dextrocardia is when the heart actually goes to the right. Situs inversus is when all the organs of your body are flipped. You can have a puncture wound, cause bleeding, but you don't pass away right away. Movies, shows, games, it all shows immediate. It takes longer than that, unfortunately, and there is more suffering. Everybody be aware that these are not benign, simple things that, oh, this is how it happens in real life. Oof. Oof. Horror game injuries like this, it really makes me think being in the ER isn't all that different. That's actually why I formulated Chillax by my company Life Happens to help ease racing thoughts and keep your brain from feeling like it just got thrown into a horror game itself. Check out Chillax at lifehappens.com or on Amazon. Oh, we got an exploded injury.
Explodes!
Explosions, you always have to worry about the initial blast, and then the secondary injuries, and then tertiary injuries. So you can get initial injury from the heat, then you have debris, and then you have different organ systems that can be injured due to the compressive forces. A lot of things going on when you have explosions that can cause people to have injuries. Oh, shaken but not stirred. Oh my gosh. Everybody run! Direct hit through maybe the abdomen, through the chest. Pretty hard to go through the bone. You're going through not just sternum and rib, but on the backside, potentially going through all the bones of the vertebrae. Does it actually happen that way? Can that amount of force go directly through at one big swoop? Maybe. Poppy's still going. If somebody were to come to the hospital with that amount of damage to somebody's head, we're gonna get a CT scan to make sure the underlying structures are okay, and then we need to figure out how to piece it back together. Are there skull fractures? Is it just soft tissue? When you have that many wounds on the skin and lined up like that, really hard to close up. Whoa. The color has changed of the prototype in the sense of burn injuries. The biggest thing we always worry about is your airway and breathing. If we see singed nose hairs, soot in the back of the throat, singed eyelashes and eyebrows, we're gonna potentially intubate you and put you on a ventilator, because if you swell after, we might be too late. What is the goo? Bye-bye, into the soup. This just reminds me of people coming in who spill soups, hot water, coffee, anything in the kitchen. We need to see the tissue. We need to see the wound. We need to potentially cut away any dead tissue right then and there, which will be helpful. If there are blisters, we typically will leave them intact because they're sterile, they're protective at that point. Sometimes if they're so big, we need to unroof it and remove the fluid that's there. Poppy Playtime. This was intense. There was a lot of injuries and damage that occurred. It correlates a lot to what happens in human beings. If you guys enjoyed this reaction, definitely check out this playlist right here, binge watch everything, and do me a favor, please make sure you subscribe, turn on your bell notifications, and hit that like button for me. Thank you so much for watching, and stay healthy, my friends.